Hello, this is Kabir Molchandani from the Seezo team. I'm the head of go-to-market here at Seezo, and I'm here to talk to you today about a topic that has come up very frequently with many of my customers as it relates to building versus buying security products. Build versus buy is one of the most common debates in security teams. Should we build this internally or should we buy a tool? It feels strategic. It feels like a responsible decision, but most of the time, it's the wrong question. When you ask build versus buy, you're optimizing for the tool. You're thinking about cost, features, and maintenance overhead. But the actual constraint isn't the tool. It's you, the security team. The actual question is, can your security function keep pace with how fast engineering is moving? Here's what actually happens inside most organizations. Most AppSec teams run at roughly 2 to 3 security engineers per 100 developers. BSIMM data confirms this across over 100 organizations. Then you scale. You may hit 150 engineers, then 300. Or maybe not. Maybe AI coding just takes over and you scale without increasing headcount. Design decisions are now happening in 12 Slack channels, 30 Jira tickets, and 4 teams that spun up last quarter. Maybe 2 teams that you don't even know about. At that ratio, you cannot manually review every feature. You cannot be in every architecture conversation. So what happens in practice? You protect the crown jewels. The highest risk systems get reviewed. Engineering ships without any design level security scrutiny at all. There's a coverage problem. And this is where I want to push back on the simple version of this take. It's not that build versus buy doesn't matter. It does. AI has made the first 50% of building an internal tool nearly free and effortless. A working prototype in days, no large team required. Of course, building feels like the obvious call. But the hard part isn't the first 50%. It's what happens after. Turning the prototype into something reliable and production grade is where the real work begins. You need structured rule frameworks, guardrails against hallucinations, consistency engineering for non-deterministic outputs, compliance mappings that evolve over time, and integrations with systems like Jira, Confluence, and Slack. And then someone has to maintain it. Updating rules when frameworks change, reworking prompts when models are deprecated, and continuous validating outputs. That's 4 to 6 months of engineering time minimum. And it's largely a manual, judgment-heavy problem. What started as a quick AI experiment often becomes a system that requires ongoing engineering ownership and hidden costs. That's not a one-time investment. That's a full-time function. And every cycle your security engineers spend maintaining that tool is a cycle you're not spending on the judgment-intensive work that they can be doing, evaluating novel attack paths, mentoring development teams, and making risk decisions. So the next time you're in a build versus buy conversation, I challenge you to ask a different set of questions. Not what does this tool cost, but how does this change the ratio of secure decisions to total decisions being made across the organization? Not can we maintain this internally, but does this make engineering teams more autonomous on security or more dependent on security? The teams that ask those questions make better decisions regardless of whether they build or buy. BSIMM data now shows us that design reviews are present in over 80% of mature security programs. Regulators from the EU's Cyber Resilience Act to the FDA are now requiring documented proof that security was considered at the design stage. The expectation has shifted. The question was never build versus buy. It was whether security can scale with engineering. That's the frame we're starting from.